Okay, I promised that we're going to get back to the phones, and here we go. As always, have my brain tied behind my back, just to be fair. We start with Ben in Jackson, New Jersey. Great to have you, sir. How are you?
Hey, Rush. Good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
That's wonderful. I got to start off saying, first things first, Rush, you don't understand the impact that you have on us middle-class, common-sense Americans, I like to call it. Let me explain. I am 27 years old. I never voted before. I voted this past year for Donald Trump. I can never understand. I'm big into the news, and it kills me to no end to see that the latest poll is Trump's base is eroding. Trump's base is leaving him. To me, it just makes me go even stronger towards the president. Because, again, I didn't vote for Donald Trump based on who Donald Trump is. Do I agree with everything he says? No. But one thing, and I know lots of people that voted for him, one thing he stands for is he means business and he speaks directly to the people, and he has nothing in it. You know, the whole thing is this notion that some Republicans are going to make healthcare fail because this way Donald Trump, you know, he'll fail and no one will vote for him again. That's the reason why we voted for him, because we, as common sense Americans, are sick and tired of the same old Republicans and Democrats who stand up there and talk about for 8 years how they're going to repeal, replace, and do this and that. And guess what? They can't even do it. That's the same reason why Donald Trump won.
Yes, they can do it. That's the rub. Everybody, you know it, I know it. They can do it. They don't want to do it. It's not that they can't. They can.
But guess what? We're going to vote for him again. Because you know why? He's the only candidate. He's the only president. I don't know how, like I said, I'm only 27, that I voted for. And I don't agree with a lot of things he said, Rush. I don't agree. I don't agree with first things first, Rush. If he would want to fix things up, let him. Why can't he just have an open discussion with American people? That's when he's at his best. Just talk to the people directly. That's how he won, Rush.
Hey, Ben, give me an example of something that you disagree with him about, or something he says that you don't like.
I honestly, when he is a little bit arrogant on the tweet. I think I know what he's trying to do.
Can I guess something? Would I be correct in guessing that what you don't like about it is that you think he's making himself not look good, and you want him to look good, and you think he's hurting himself? But it's not that you disagree with him doing it, or that you're down on him. You want him to look good, and you think he's hurting himself in that regard. Is that right?
Russ, a drop deeper than that. I believe also he distracts, from the ultimate, like, to keep that positive that we need. Rush, like I said, I never voted for anyone before until I voted for him. And that's the funny thing is, I'm sorry for keeping jumping around. The funny thing is that how could the same polls that said that Hillary's up by 11, did they forget what happened in the past 8 months? Did they forget that they were so wrong and they're still doing the same poll? Who are they polling? They're not polling me. They probably told me that I was voting for Hillary. And guess what? I'm voting for Trump again, even with some of my disagreements. So,
let me tell you, Ben, you're right about the left. They're not trying to adapt to deal with Trump. They're using brute force to change the landscape while remaining in opposition to a majority of the American people. They don't want to have to adapt to win. They want to win with the sheer force of power, and they want to nullify the election. They're not going to look out there and say, the American people want X and Y and we don't. We better try to make the American people think that we're with them. But that's not who they are. They're never, ever. Media, establishment, Republican, Democrat, they're never going to do that. I appreciate the call. I understand you're not voting ever and then voting for Trump. I know exactly what you're saying, and you're skipping around was not a problem. I can keep up. But I think there's something simple here, or basic, that so many people who oppose Trump are overlooking, and they consider it nothing more than a meaningless catchphrase or slogan. but it really does embody or encapsulate what all of this is about with the Trump voter base. And it's in that slogan, Make America Great Again. And this is something that the entire Washington establishment simply rejects, doesn't try to understand, and in fact mocks and makes fun of it. And that is that a significant portion of our people, and it's an increasing number, believe the United States and its existence as founded is threatened. And that people who have been in power, like Obama, specifically Obama, were harming the country in terms of its growth, in terms of job opportunities for average, ordinary Americans. There were people who felt that Obama felt the global governance and global concerns were far more important than domestic American concerns, which were ridiculed and apologized for. And it really isn't any more complicated than that. You have many in the country who think the nation is in crisis and faces real threats to its existence as founded versus people who think that's crazy. And because they think it's crazy, they reject it, and then they mock it and make fun of it, as in bitter Klinger comments or other similar things. And it remains the glue that keeps Trump and his supporters together. It's the bond, it's the super glue that they can't break, and yet they don't even understand it. It's not more complicated than that. You can make it so if you want, but it isn't.